Look across Lake Geneva, and you get a picture of soothing tranquility that's hard to equal anywhere in the world. But this typical Swiss calm is about to be shattered, for an invasion force is winging in to take Switzerland by storm. This you might call a flight of fancy. The Swiss are taking part in the capers too, because here is where fact and fiction meet, where fantasy becomes reality. The costumed characters aren't refugees from some disbanded music hall, though they are play acting. And the central figure in the mock melodrama is Sherlock Holmes. The master sleuth has become an institution, and the Sherlock Holmes Society of London are further perpetuating the memory of their hero with an 8-day pilgrimage in the footsteps of Sherlock Holmes. Switzerland was the scene of many Holmesian incidents and a favorite haunt of his creator, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. So the stage is set for a bizarre cross-country romp recreating those adventures. And the villains are already on the trail. Holmes is being played by London barrister Anthony Howlett, and other normally staid members of the establishment are out of pinstripes and into costume to impersonate characters who appear in the great detective stories. A physician, a QC, civil servants and business executives are among those who've joined forces to play out this academic joke. Against a rare backdrop of beauty, the resurrected entourage make for their first shrine. The 12th century Chateau de Lucens, now home of Adrian Conan Doyle, the son of Holmes's creator. Never since Stanley said, "Dr. Livingston, I presume," has there been such a historic meeting, though that jungle encounter was never as complicated as this. Here, a man playing a fictional character meets the son of the man who created him. Certainly not an elementary situation. A reconstruction of Holmes's famous consulting room at 221B Baker Street is also housed in the chateau. The room evokes many memories of the demon of denouement and gives the jet-age Holmes and his chronicler, Dr. Watson, a chance to chat about a case once more. If times have changed, the Swiss beauty that Conan Doyle so loved has not. After the Baker Street reunion, it's on to Kandersteg, the next leg of this charade, and the scene of one attempt on Holmes's life. In the books, Holmes had to deal with one villain at a time, but there are 3 wicked men from different stories after him on this trip. Today, his greeting at Kandersteg is a lot friendlier than his fictional reception. Everything is as it was, or rather as it would have been if all this had really happened. It was here that Watson once studiously recorded, "A large rock clattered from the ridge behind us. The attempt to crush the detective has failed." But, noted Watson, Holmes smiled with the air of a man who sees the fulfillment of that which he expected. The wily sleuth obviously realizes that rock is a lightweight dummy. But he shouldn't get overconfident. The villains are right behind him as the pilgrims move on through the pastel shades of a Swiss spring from Interlaken to Meiringen. As the journey continues, the climax, Holmes' supposed death in a clash with his archenemy, Professor Moriarty, draws nearer. It's not far from here to the place where the detective was killed off in a struggle with Moriarty, then restored to life by his creator after a public outcry. The exact location of the fight was never revealed. But the man who's now playing Sherlock did a bit of sleuthing himself and discovered the only spot which fitted Conan Doyle's description was the Reichenbach Falls. At Meiringen, they've made this Sherlock Holmes Day. And what better way to celebrate than make for the falls and reenact the fight, which did at least get rid of the villain of the piece. Unscathed, Sherlock reappears at the foot of the falls to unveil a memorial to himself. Rank egotism, perhaps, and certainly not the way it all happened in the book. But minor details are forgotten as the pilgrims carry their capers on to Lucerne, where the flag waving really begins. To all intents and purposes, Holmes is now back in the land of the living. And if you look carefully, you'll spot Moriarty skulking around too. It doesn't really matter. The finer points of the whole way out business are swallowed up in the fun and frolics of a veteran car rally to Davos. It's here that the creator takes over from the created. At Davos, the society are honoring not Holmes, but Conan Doyle, for he was the first Englishman to cross an Alpine Pass here in winter on skis. The author's son proudly displays the crude reindeer skin-covered skis which made that pioneer crossing from Davos to Arosa, where the pilgrims now head for by more conventional transport. Those skis can still be put to good use on Arosa's crisp slopes. But Holmes and his faithful Watson have more important work to do. The fiction has all been neatly taken care of. It's the loose ends created on this trip that still have to be tied up. The powers of deduction are at work. The dreaded magnifying glass is back in use, and at last it looks as though the villains are nearing the end of their roguish road. Only one baffling mystery remains. How is it these characters can die, disappear, or be arrested, then turn up together for the grand finale? The answer is, of course, none of them ever lived anyway. Elementary.